Alright, our second program, which is going to focus mainly on the core and the upper extremity, we are going to focus on the two basic functions, pushing and pulling. We're going to divide our program in three complexes, which is going to be the push complex, obviously, the pulling complex, and then the third part with some more isolated core exercises, which I'm not a big fan of, but just to round it up and get that off-season core work going. Again, we want to start with our general warm-up on the treadmill, on the rowing machine, or if really necessary on the bike. Afterwards we're doing our foam rolling, and then we start up with the little rotator cuff work. So we're going external and internal rotation. If you haven't done it ever, we're going from that zero position just to make sure we get that external rotation in our humerus and not some weird pulling actions where you want to go around here. Same thing externally and internally. Obviously you take more weight in internal rotation. Make sure your shoulder stays where it is and is not rounding up or going too far back. Your shoulder level should be even throughout all the exercise. If you have done it before down here, might as well try it in the abducted position, which is going to be up here with your elbow on shoulder height or a little bit below. And if you've even done that one before, then you're going to a position which is called 90-45, and then you're going around here again with those same points. Interesting, the elbow stays where it is, your shoulder stays down and tucked in, and both shoulders stay on the same height, same as your pelvis obviously. After that, doing 30 repetitions externally and internally. After that we move into all fours, get the chest out, separate the feet as far as we need to. Then we go in one chest tap left, one chest tap right, one turn up left, one turn up right. So again, pop, pop, up, up. As you're going up, you really want to make sure you go all the way around, look at your arm and feel that contraction here in between your scapulas. And once you tap your chest, you want to make sure your body ain't rotating too much. We do that for about 1 minute. After that, we go for hanging leg raises. So we go into that hang, pull ourselves up in an active hang, so we get the shoulder blades together. Now we want to make sure our body always stays in the same position. Then we bring up one leg, getting the other leg to the back, and we bring up the other leg. Controlling our core, so we don't want to swing forwards and backwards that crazy. We really want to stay where we are, extend one leg while we bend the other one, which is exactly what we do when we're running. Alright, after that, we're already going to work through the push complex, which is going to be a little bit shorter than the pulling complex because, as you know, we're swimming in front of our body, we're riding our bike down here, we're also running. We tend to shorten up a little bit once we don't have like a perfect technique. So what we want to focus on, especially in our off season, is not only getting that strength going and do the pushing part, which is more fun, but also pulling and opening up. First exercise, nevertheless, it's going to be a bench press, which we are not performing on a bench, but on a Swiss ball. If you don't have a Swiss ball, you might as well use a bench, but just like the other way around. So you just put your upper back down on top of it to make sure you get that pushing pattern right. which is containing tension in the glutes, tension in the abs. So we start at that position, get the dumbbells nice and close to our body, then we roll up till only our upper back is in contact with the ball. Now we want to contract our abs, contract our bum, we push up, we come back down and get back together. Alright, inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. What you want to make sure is that you don't push up here with your elbows on shoulder height, but somewhere down here where you're actually developing more force, which is a more natural push pattern. After that, straight away, we want to go to a push-up, which we are going to perform either on that Swiss ball again, up here, or just kick the Swiss ball away, doing them on the floor, or we get our feet on the Swiss ball and perform them negative. You might vary, you might adapt it to your level. We want to go 10 to 15 repetitions as in the first set for all the exercises. After that pushing complex, we are going to move on to the pulling part, which we're going to start with a simple but effective pull-up. So we go either supinated if you're tending to pull more from your arms, or if you're struggling with the pronated version. And if we can, we obviously grab like that, pull ourselves up as in the warm-up, and then pull ourselves up, nice and slow on the way down. Alright, here we want to go 10. If 10s are easy for you, and you either get some extra weight or do some extra repetitions, and come up here. And we're going to perform a pull down straight afterwards. Whoop. So you get down on your knees. These are a little bit too low for me. You contract your bum and then you just pull them down. So you want to start up here and then pull all the way down with our shoulder blades pull together and our shoulders down and in. You may find that more common machine where you sit in if you have cords, or if you have two separate cords in your gym, trying to use that. If you need to sit down, and you sit down and you want to pull to your chest optimally with your arms in external rotation. That's how we teach it. For the last one, or for the introduction of the core part already, we are going to perform a side plank row, which is more of a side plank than the row. Again, it's an anti-rotational exercise, as in the first plan already. Now, a little bit of a different focus though. So we go down, get our elbow, our hips, our knees, and our ankles all lined up, and we push ourselves up. Now that resistance is pulling me back there. So what I gotta do is stabilize back there in my posterior system back there, and then we pull back and we roll to get that exercise a little bit more dynamically, because even though we're working the core more or less isolated, we still don't want to work it isometric, because isometric core work really is a little bit too basic. Obviously, if you need to do it, you need to do it, but as soon as we can get some sort of dynamics in there, we're gonna do so. For the last exercise, which is gonna be a combination of mobility and anti-extension core work, we're gonna just place ourselves, can leave it there. We're gonna place ourselves on our 2 feet, then we're gonna walk forward. So we feel that stretch in our superficial back line already. And we're gonna walk forward as far as we can. Obviously, if that is already challenging for my core, I keep it there and I walk back. If not, you keep walking out, walking out, walking out, till you feel that in your core, and then you come back. Doing that 10 times as well. What you want to make sure is that you walk out far enough to feel it in your core, but not too far to feel it in your lower back. You don't want to go into that exaggerated lumbar lordosis. You really want to keep your core tight, your navel in, and then that should work out, combined with the mobility part, and then obviously stretching afterwards, making the base for then more specific programs throughout the season.